doing great. Well, we've discussed so many different points, and I was thinking that now it's the time that we actually move into some of the different ways and techniques in which you can ensure that education and teaching your child remain interesting and very, very fulfilling in these rather difficult times. So, I found something really wonderful which I wanted to share with all of you, and that is Learning and Teaching Aids. I found this book in my collection, and I thought that why not share some wonderful ways in which we can make learning and teaching so much more interesting for children. So, if you're a parent to toddler, or you're a parent to maybe a middle school child, and you're wondering that how am I going to make this time interesting, how am I going to help them to increase their knowledge, apart of course from the regular academic syllabi, then this is something which is definitely going to help you. So, what are we waiting for? Let's dive straight into the subject matter. So, now in case you're wondering what subject area specifically are these learning and teaching aids for? Well, it's for language and for reading. As you know, language and reading are very important for children to ensure that later on they don't have problems in communication, they don't have problems in socializing. It's so important that we develop their language and their reading from the very beginning, because without that you actually can't expect a child to just be wonderful at communication or to be just fantastic at socialization. It is very important that we touch upon these points. So let's start. Now if you look at it, you get so many wonderful books out there, whether it's Amazon, whether it's different teaching festivals and different places, and even the internet. The internet is a great source for all the wonderful learning teaching materials that I love, and I can go crazy if I go to any shop which has these wonderful learning teaching materials. I actually go crazy, and my family members have to pull me out from there. So if you're somebody who also loves learning teaching material, who loves to think about education in different ways, not just about that khata, pencil and lekha lekhi koro, so then you're actually going to love this video. So let's start with something as simple but yet basic like stencils and templates. If you recall, templates and stencils are so important. Templates and stencils actually form the basic and the basis for a child to be able to hold the pencil or the pen correctly and write. So you could have a variety of stencils, whether it's a rabbit, whether it's a guinea pig, whether it's a monkey, whether it's an elephant. And not only animals, you could have stencils for transportation systems, you could have stencils for even the alphabets. So you have stencils, you have a variety of them. So where you're choosing your stencils from, whether it's from Stomach or from Hamleys or even ordering online. So then you'll see that there are so many different ways in which you can actually get your child to hold that pencil correctly or hold that pen point correctly and write. So now if you feel that no, I don't want to go and buy stencils, I want to make them myself. Well then there's no problem. You can actually make stencils yourself. And how are you going to do that? Well, what you would need is a variety of objects like say toys, transport, geometrical shapes, and you could cut them out of stiff cardboard. In India we call them mount board. Maybe you call it something else, if you're watching this from another part of the world. So we call it mount board, and if not that, you could even use an old X-ray. So old X-rays are really useful when it comes to making stencils. You keep that old X-ray and you actually cut out the desired shape from it and just use it like a regular stencil. So you don't actually need to buy the set of stencils, you could actually make it yourself. And when you make it yourself, you'll see that it's very satisfying. So if your toddler or your little one is old enough to actually be cutting, using a pair of scissors well, then I would suggest that make it together. Use this time effectively. Sit together and make it together. I mean, there's nothing like it, right? So when we are looking at making stencils, we have to also know the method of use. It's very important. So the children draw around the template and then fill in the outlined area with colored pencils or with colored crayons. And also, you as the parent or the teacher, you can make comments about the size, the color, the shape, the type of object, the number of objects on which the children are working. So it makes it an interactive session, and it helps the child to actually think, okay, what I'm learning, even ma'am, or if you're a parent, even my parent is interested in. It gives a sense of togetherness, it improves communication like nothing else, and it increases confidence manyfold. So this is something you really need to think about. So what are the reasons why we should go in for stencils? Well, they help in hand and eye coordination, they help in vocabulary development, they help in cognition, they help in fine motor skills, and of course they also help in discussions, or what we term as extempo talks. Extempo talks are so important. It's important to ensure that your child is able to talk about anything, because nowadays that's what people look at. So this actually encourages discussion. I think you actually understand that it really encourages discussion. So it's so important that we remember that these kind of LTMs can really help your child to look at education in a different way, with a different mindset, and it's really, really helpful. So I hope you liked this first teaching and learning aid, and I prefer to call it learning teaching aid for children, toddlers, and stay tuned for my next